Welcome back, guys. I can't believe that we are actually on day 20. So we have today and one more left to go. Today's practice is going to be a new style of yoga that I'm going to introduce you to. And we're going to practice a form of yoga which is called Yin Yoga. If you haven't practiced Yin before, don't worry, after today you can say that you have. And with Yin Yoga, it is very passive, very floor-based, very soft in comparison to the more flow and other kind of poses that we've been doing right up until now. You might notice I've got a different prop with me. So I've got my bolster with me, which is basically just a bit of a sausage-shaped cushion. And you don't need an actual bolster. You might want to get a blanket, roll it up into a sausage, or grab a couple of pillows from the bed. They will work absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be an official yoga bolster. So with this practice, just a couple of things to mention. When we have been doing the other forms of yoga, we've been connecting more to muscles and working with the body on more of an outer layer. When we come to Yin Yoga, it moves slightly different. So rather than targeting the main muscle groups, you're going to find that this is going to target more your connective tissues and your joints and your ligaments. And so they need to be held for longer periods of time. So each pose is going to be held between 2 and 4 minutes each. If you see me checking out my watch at any point, I'm not thinking, oh, hurry up, I want to go and have a cup of tea. I'm thinking I need to make sure that you're in the poses for the same time on different sides of the body. So grab any props. Then we're going to start to get comfy in our Shavasana, and I'll continue to talk to you a little bit while you get settled. So come on down, and we're going to find that Shavasana position. Now as you settle and shuffle and wriggle and get comfortable, just another thing to note is Yin is very inwards as a practice. It's great for introspection, it's really great for looking inwards and getting to know yourself, sitting with your thoughts, your feelings. And so at times it can become a little bit mentally challenging from time to time. But just like our physical postures are challenging, we can work through that, we can practice acceptance, and we can really pay attention to what is going on. So if things do arise, things do come up, know that it's quite normal. If you feel emotion in any way, that is quite normal. Sometimes when we hold these and we release them, we release the energy channels, and then sometimes that comes out as maybe laughter or a little bit of a cry. It can be anything, or you might not experience any of that at all, but just in case you do feel any of that, I don't want you to think, is this normal? Yeah, it really is. Yin Yoga is a little bit different, so as you are going to find out now. So finding that position, hopefully you're there now, and closing the eyes and pulling your energy and your awareness inwards to you. And you want to start by just tuning in to the breath from the get-go. Maybe starting slowly just by being aware of the breath and deepening it ever so slightly, so there's a little bit more conscious awareness of the breath. Maybe take a breath if you're particularly tense and sigh the breath out, releasing the shoulders, the collarbones, the jaw, the forehead. And whenever you feel ready, we're going to start to expand the breath. So inhaling, breathing into that lung space, filling up the chest, feeling the ribs expand, feeling the chest rise, the belly flare. And as you exhale, feel everything soften. Feel the body relax, the heart center relax, the jaw, and just really gravitate into the back of the body. I'm going to leave you here for a few moments to really deepen and connect to your breath. Aware of every part of the breath. So maybe before we start today, you place an intention to your practice. Maybe you're going to intend to focus on your breath every time your mind wanders or goes for a walk. Maybe you're going to intend to just see what arises and sit with yourself today. It can be anything, but you will project inwards even more so today. If you feel okay to, maybe you can keep your eyes closed today in our practice. And before we start to head into our first posture, just take a little bit of a stretch out. Reaching the arms over the head, pointing the toes, circling maybe the wrists and then the ankles. And at any point you feel ready to, we're going to pull the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a hug inwards. Say something nice to yourself perhaps. And then when you're ready, we're going to rock ourselves over and we're going to come into our first Yin pose. So you can use a pillow here or a bolster, or you can take it how you've taken this pose over the last few days. So your child's pose is going to actually be our first posture. So either taking it as you would normally, allowing the forehead to rest on the mat, walking the arms out in front of you. Or if the floor is just a little too far away and it's a bit too much for the hips, then use your pillows, use your bolsters, and you can rest on those instead. Actually, I think I'm going to stay on mine today. And then this is going to be your first hold, and you're going to hold this one for about 3 minutes. So 3 minutes to sit with yourself. What you might start to notice is initially when you arrive in these poses, they have, or you meet initial resistance within the body. This one maybe not so much, but maybe some of the others you might feel that initial, oh, don't know if I really like how this feels. But then what will happen is your body will soften. It will learn to let go. It will learn to surrender. And then when your body opens and does that, that's our cue to maybe transition and move a little bit deeper into the pose. We have a saying in Yin Yoga that you're always looking for the edge. And what we mean by that is we're just looking for the edge of the stretch, just where we feel that right little stretch, and we don't want to take it too far. But then what happens over time is that little stretch softens, and then we need to progress and find a new edge to soften. So keep finding your edges, breathing into them, and trying to soften and relax. Give yourself permission to relax and to soften. Focusing on nothing really other than the breath here. Watch the jaw, let the jaw soften, let your shoulders relax. And you're constantly maybe just scanning the body, looking for areas that need a little bit of extra care and attention. You're in your final minute of this pose. And if you have already had thoughts like, I can't do this is too slow for me, this is not for me, just be open and see what happens. I used to think the exact same thing about this practice. And in fact, I used to hate it in the beginning. And then I started to realise that the body, we need balance in everything we do. So if you're very, very yang, so you're constantly go, go, go all the time, where's your pause? Where's your opposite to that? Where's your reflection? Where's your stillness? And as much as we might not think we need it, balance is absolutely key in everything we do, including movement and stillness. So you're just going to come into your last 2 breaths now. Inhale. As you exhale, let the body melt. And once more. Now usually we have what we call a rebound pose between each of these, and I will rebound in some but not all. So just sit back on the heels, close your eyes, and I'm going to take a few breaths here. Let the jaw be soft. Good thing about this practice is the less movement, the more awareness and focus you can give to that breath. Now the next pose we're going to take, you've done before, and it doesn't actually require a prop at all. I'm going to take our puppy, but yin style. So hips are over the knees and we're walking the hands out in front of us, finding that lovely puppy shape. Allowing the head to melt and keeping the arms nice and stretched out and grounded. And your hold is going to start now. Take advantage of this pose and the space that it gives you to, and it allows you to breathe into. Any tension in your shoulders, let it relax as you exhale. Try and resist the urge to fidget, to move. There's a little part of your brain which we usually associate the ego to, but that part of the brain also needs to be busy. So it's that part of the brain that will throw those random thoughts out at you. It will be that part of the brain that says little things like, go on, just fidget. Go on, just move. Go on. You've got a really itchy nose all of a sudden. You need to scratch that now. Just try and breathe through that noise, that chatter that the mind is trying to present to you. And I'll rest here for a further 45 seconds. Notice how sensations have potentially shifted or transformed into another space. And just very slowly now, dropping the hips back down into child's pose. This time, bring the arms around to the side for our rebound as you rest here for about 60 seconds. Very slowly start to lift yourself up and trying to keep all that lovely awareness inwards. So you may need your brick to sit your hips on for the next one. We're going to take that seated position now. We're going to take the legs out wide, and they don't need to be as wide as they will go. You just want to take a slightly wider stance so you feel a very maybe gentle opening to the inside of the legs. Now some of you might be super duper bendy, in which case feel free to fold yourself all the way over. If you're like me and you get a little bit stuck, then you can use your bolster or your pillows and you can press them into the mat and you can rest your forehead on them here. Or if you don't need as much height, you might choose to fold over them with them on the ground. You could always get creative, maybe bring them up a little bit closer to you and you can rest here instead. But the idea is you want to be able to relax into this pose. So the feet are not flexed, we're not looking to get that really deep hamstring stretch, we're just looking to soften and be passive. This one you're going to be holding for about 2.5 minutes. So relax into the pose. Breathe into where you feel tension. And try and let it release and let go. You might find halfway in you can fold in a little deeper. But just staying with the breath, mindful of any sensations. If you feel your body surrendering, kind of move into that. Some days it doesn't, some days it's a little bit more resistant. And those days we have to practice acceptance. Acceptance of the things we can't control. No use in getting mad about the things we can't control. What's the point? And that includes our forward folds and our yoga poses as well. Feel that subtle deep opening through the backs of the legs, lower back, mid back. Coming into your final few breaths. And very slowly starting to walk yourself back up. You might need your pillows, your blocks in a moment, but we're going to just rebound for a moment in a seated pose. So sitting tall and just taking 30 to 60 seconds to do nothing other than observe the body and allow the body to process the posture it has just done. And then we're going to come into another pose you have done before, Baddha Konasana. So staying on your brick if need be. Some of you will find you don't actually need your brick in this pose, but you do when the legs are crossed. So the feet are together. You can do this without props. So you can have the feet together, knees wide, and just passively let yourself melt forwards. You could use your brick to give your head something to rest on, or maybe if you need a little bit more height, then you can use your pillows again just to find that height. So finding the variation that works for you. You can support the outsides of the thighs, so if you need to, you can use your bricks on the outside, you can use your cushions, your blankets, anything. Really be creative and just try and support any area that needs it in this pose. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly start to walk into the fold, and you'll be in this one for 2 to 2.5 minutes as well. What you'll find here is how high you start may not be how you finish, so you might lose some of the props. And we've got about a minute to go. So breathing into the lower back, into the inner thighs, inner hips. You've probably got about 2 more breaths to really melt into, to surrender into. And then we can very, very, very slowly bring ourselves out. Removing any props that you need to and bringing yourself into a seated position. Have your palms down today. And if you'd like to take a mudra, and you may have seen people do these in meditation, they're used for lots of things. And we're going to join the thumb and the index finger together with the palms facing down, which is going to be Gayana mudra. If we was to have this facing up, we'd call it Chin mudra. And they work as seals to maintain the energy inwards. So finger and thumb together, palms down. Then inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In, out, in, and out. In and out. Now you might be thinking many things, and one of them could potentially be, well, that was a waste of time. It wasn't. Every practice you do is never a waste of time. There's always some element in some way that's going to connect to you, that's going to work for you, even if we don't see it at the time. So close your palms together, and regardless of how you felt about that practice, let go of those attachments. Try not to attach to it at all, really. And then we are going to close and leave that practice here. Bowing the chin in to end our yin. I couldn't help myself then, sorry. I love a cue that rhymes. Thank you guys, and if you ever have any questions about any of the things we do, but particularly if you're unsure about this style of yoga, if there's something else you want to know about it, please reach out to me. I can talk yoga all day, every day, and I still won't get bored. So thank you for quieting down with me, thank you for being a little bit stiller. I will see you for our last session. And that one is going to be a little bit longer because we are going to merge some of the things that we've learned all together, as well as additional on top as well. And I can't wait to see you for that one. See you soon. Bye.